All right. Hey, what's up? It's New Age Dot here with you, and welcome to the new moon in Aquarius, January 21st, 2023, also known as the Chinese New Year. The Asians have celebrated the Lunar New Year for as long as I can remember and beyond. So I'm still kind of new and fresh in this reality, so who am I to say anything for sure? Um, I think essentially the Chinese New Year is marked for January 22nd, 2023, which is tomorrow. And ironically, Uranus goes direct, and Uranus is the modern astrologer. Yes. Yes, Uranus is the modern astrologer, but Uranus is the modern ruler for Aquarius. I'm sorry. And this brings me to the flexibility or lack of flexibility coming with even a cardinal sign such as Capricorn. And I mention that because the traditional ruler of Aquarius is Saturn, which also rules Aquarius. Aquarius, Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. Aquarius, ruled by Saturn and Uranus. And both of them equally having strength in this sign. Aquarius is the water bearer or the child who nourishes the collective, right? I say child because there is something very utopian and visionary about Aquarius, which I think requires a sense of childlike spirit. Uh, in its essence of creation and dreaming and creating and revolutionizing. And that would be seen with its opposing sign, Leo, which is ruled by the sun, okay, and it rules children as well. So Aquarius, being a fixed air sign, has a rigid quality to it, right? Fixed being immovable, but air being something that is very hard to contain. I mean, you can contain certain gases, but air in itself is permeates. Yeah, like does it permeate like solids, like walls and stuff like that? I would suppose so, right? Because like if your neighbor is cooking, you could smell that, and that is like in the air. Okay, so Saturn being the planet of time and the planet of maturation, the planet of harvest, and at one point, joy and the reaping of one's karma benefits, right? The joy, benefit, abundance that comes with Capricorn. And that I mentioned with the Cancer full moon last month, where we got a little bit more into that Saturn, Cancer, Saturn, Capricorn, Cancer, Moon kind of dynamic. But here, Saturn in Aquarius is looking for structures within a network and or society. And on the other end, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is the liberator, the innovator, the awakener, right? It's spiritual awakening, the new age, the future. And Uranus does come to disrupt the previous boundaries and parameters set by Saturn, which was originally necessary to establish such community, right? Aquarius, let's get into it. Aquarius rules innovative thinking, utopian ideals, network systems like a highway, right? Or the synapses firing off in your brain, which brings us to the intelligence of Aquarius, right? The one who knows it all, if you would. And Aquarius is set to be a sky god, right? A sky god that governs lightning. And lightning can be destructive and sudden and awakening in its nature and can really set patterns ablaze. So, in order to have a network or a system, there must be some sort of structure and or pathway represented by Saturn, which is continuously broken and reestablished with Uranus. They work in tandem, although they both behave quite differently, although just as serious about the mm, highest ideal, if you would, and not so much just as the high ideal like Sagittarius, where Sagittarius may just have a vision in it for itself and may aim towards that, but the Aquarian has an ideal for the collective that is set to serve humanity. As a water bearer, we are serving humanity. We are quenching the thirst of humanity by igniting fire. And this brings us to fire being spirit, and that goes back to the lightning bolt, which can very much spark fire, which can be setting awakening in the spirit, right? And again, can be totally destructive, but where there is ashes, things can be born anew, correct? So there's that, right? So we have the sun in Aquarius with the moon conjunction. And then we have Saturn and Venus also in conjunction at this time. And this is, I believe, a sobering ideal or sobering factor that really forces us to tamper our need for, let's say, indulgences. And Venus in Aquarius can serve itself with indulgences with the varieties of the like, meaning a little bit of this, a little bit of that, something different, divergent, um, not judgmental, unconventional, right? Where there can be one more, plenty, or only, but different. And Saturn here is having us either solidify these higher values or these utopian values or these ways that we choose to uniquely interact within our relational sphere. This is having us really to kind of take a look at either our options in our network, in our arena, in our communities that may be offering us forms of alternative love, alternative relationship, right? But it's also very sobering in the arenas in the arena of monetary gain, right? Like money can just kind of seem very tight, and we may just have to like really think of out of the box ways to try to bring lucrative energy back into our environment. And that's like the epitome of Aquarius. It's like, all right, I need money, you need money. Let me try to figure out how to bring money into myself that will, or maybe money to the community or this network that will naturally then benefit me. So, how is it that I bring money, relation, financial gain to not only myself, but the community or the network that I am connected to at this time. And on the other end, completely experiencing restriction and or loss at the same token. It's like I have this really grand idea, and I know that it's going to take like a shitload of money or work to get it done. And, you know, at one point the idea was very glamorous and big, and you thought that you could really make it happen. And the thing is that you can make it happen, but Saturn is like a heavy, again, restrictive energy that wants you to put structure onto things, right? So it's like, okay, this is great. This is all like you can have it basically at your fingertips, right? With a new moon, it's ripe soil. We can kind of plant any idea or um a need into the soil in order to be birthed at a later time, perhaps in Leo season, right? With the full moon. Or the new moon in Leo. Yeah, because oh, Yeah, we have a full moon in Leo. I'm sorry, the full moon in Leo, and then maybe even for some, the new moon in Leo. Okay, so that is definitely something there that just kind of came out of nowhere. So, um, the thing is that you can have it, right? And you might even unexpectedly receive help from someone in this network, this community, whether you're new to it or not, or whether you've been a part of it or not, or maybe just like some random friend or a comrade or someone in your friend group, in your collective. May very well who can be older than you, who can be a mentor or a teacher of yours, or even like a friend who might be feeling like a little generous at this time after like a long period of time of seeming that they didn't want to share with you or that they weren't willing to give to you, and then all of a sudden you might realize that you have the support that you weren't expecting. um so I mean, your goal at this time is attainable, the one that you see that is highly beneficial for your group, for your network, for your collective. This ideal that you have is very possible, but it's difficult. You might feel right now that the details just seem drawn out, difficult, heavy, right? Details, Mercury in Capricorn, it's an earth sign, cardinal great, it's moving forward, right? The Mercury is no longer retrograde. We can move forward, but it's still like a dredge up that mountain, right? So um we're being called to like attend to the details, right, to get through the pressures of maybe monetary restriction that will ultimately get you to that ideal. Great, there you go, boom, there's that. Now, the new moon is in Aquarius. We have this like stellium in Aquarius is all about like detachment. Can we detach, detach, detach? I don't know. This is the chart that is on the eastern horizon. So those who are in other parts of the world might have a different rising sign. But as I am reading it as a Cancer, the ascendant is in Cancer. And anyways, Cancer is always relevant when it comes to the moon because the moon is ruled by Cancer. So, whenever in doubt, look to Cancer. She will assist you. Boom, Cancer. I'm sorry that my kids are being like very rowdy. Just I'm not even gonna fight with them. Nothing. Okay, Aquarius and Saturn. Pluto, Aquarius and Saturn, Aquarius and Capricorn. Pluto is 28 degrees of Capricorn. Give me, I feel like I want to go and speak to them, but 28 degrees, Pluto. Please detach, detach, detach. Just let it go because despite the obstacles and challenges and the amount of patience that have to be put into this, you're being asked to let go, to just let it go and to look at some of like your fixed behaviors, right? Because Aquarius can be a know-it-all. It can be fixed in its intellectual capacities and its intellectual abilities, you know what I'm saying? And so like I mean, Mercury in Capricorn was like an excellent like carpenter, if you would, but it could be a little slow on making sense of those details because they might have to mull it over a few times in order to embed it. It's an earth sign, embed it, dig it in, etch it in. Now, Aquarius with that intellectual air element and fixed, it can be rigid in its thinking and what it wants to learn and receive as knowledge and or true and whatever, experimental or not. So learning to become detached, right, despite the difficulties and the challenges, while we kind of do basically the groundwork. The new moon is dark. It's dark. We're tired, we're sleepy, we're low on energy. It's planting time. It's the perfect time to plant your seed. But the seed, you want it to see that it's going to like extend through the wavelengths, through the airwaves, and be of benefit to those who just happen to like sniff the air. 28 degrees Pluto in Capricorn. This energy is intense, especially while the moon, the last couple of days, and when the sun was in conjunction and the 29th degree of Capricorn. Oh my God. Pluto is hidden, seething anger, jealousy, It's like the hurts and the pains that, the events in which we were slighted, that were buried deep underneath the surface, that you kind of consciously, subconsciously said that you would bring up in the future in order to like reap some sort of like revenge and or reward, due to the initial ego flight that was experienced. So Pluto is like hidden darkness, like hidden irritations, and even hidden wounds. It's just like it can be very sludgy and grimy, just like Saturn can be described as like dirty, right? I don't know, like somehow he was like attributed to the junkyard. Like, okay, how does Saturn go from the god of the golden age and plenty to like the junkyard and smelly still air? Okay, Saturn and Aquarius, smelly still air. I mean, I don't know, feminine energy. I don't know. There could be like some stale values that need to be washed up, or some stale values that are being triggered, or some dark energies that are being triggered, or maybe we're just kind of in more realization of the hidden irritations of those around us. I mean, like, if we are a part of the community and a collective, we can't necessarily be selective of what it is that we're receiving from that, right? Because everyone, in general or in the grand ideal or scheme would be valued and treated equally, right? So we would naturally, in consequence, be dealing with some of their light and dark attributes, being able to deal with the light and dark attributes of others, but mainly ourselves. So like irritation, this new moon can bring about deep seated irritation to the surface that can be a slow and painful process. We're clearing initially. New moons are extremely healing. So, this is a time of clearing and healing deep emotional seated anger, irritation, and or misunderstandings of others within our environmental sphere. Also experiencing suppression of our values, things that make us feel good, loved, cared for. It could even be treasures and or luxuries, feeling restricted of a particular luxury of value, which could then be giving you a hard time in how it is that you choose to relate to your network and or community and or friend group, right? It's like if we're not feeling our best, or don't have what we need, then maybe we don't feel like we can step into this community and or environment in ways that we would feel truly supported. And this is when that surprise factor may be coming in. As I mentioned earlier, Uranus is going direct in Capricorn's sister sign. And I just want to, like, Capricorn and Aquarius, I mean, two very different signs, but they kind of mesh together back to back. So, Saturn ruling Capricorn and Aquarius. Saturn is in Aquarius. Uranus rules Aquarius. Uranus is in Taurus, sister sign of Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, goes direct. The ruling planet of Aquarius, Uranus, goes direct in this Earth sign Taurus, ruled being ruled by Venus, which is in conjunction. Do you see how this is coming together? Which we will then perhaps be receive a great surprise or something, a valuable offer, an offer of value, a tangible value that you receive through the grapevine due to your ability to connect to a group, a network. This could even be like a business office. This could be your colleagues, right? And connect with them. And by surprise, Uranus goes direct tomorrow on a new moon, Aquarius, and boom, you get the perfect offer, or you get the green light to make us to take the proper steps forward, right? Which ultimately benefits this whole or this collective. Very interesting. So despite the challenges and restrictions experienced by Saturn, you most likely have been feeling some extreme like anger or jealousy or just like some deep seated like shit that you've been having to fucking work through, whether you like it or not. But at the end of this, I do see that there is great potential for reward as Saturn, once again, is the planet of reward and bounty and plenty, but through hard work and sacrifice. Okay. Um, right. Which I guess the double emphasis with the North Node and Uranus and Taurus. Let's see if I'm missing anything else. Oh, have a sextile to Jupiter. Oh, that even goes that supports this benefactor energy that I have been mentioning with this Saturn Venus conjunction and Uranus going direct. We have a sextile to Jupiter in Aries, and Jupiter is, um, said to be a guru or an energy that is giving, right? Giving of plenty. Um, I just want to take a look here, make sure I'm not missing anything. We do have a trine to Mars in Gemini, and that can be the need to like temper the ways in which we are communicating and or negotiating, and also tempering the speed in which such negotiations and expressions are happening. Okay. Gemini and Aquarius are both masculine signs. So this could be surrounded around business, things of legitimacy, things of like seriousness, right? Like things of structure, things that are going to take um, you to the next level with this Mars energy in Gemini. Also, greater ease in connection and or communication, but to be mindful of not infusing whatever energy that you are egoically and subconsciously picking up in regards to this Plutonian energy, dark energy, but it's also power. So even like this energy or pressure building up, Capricorn being a nerve sign, Pluto ruling like oils, this pressure building up. I mean, all of a sudden we can just have like this burst of wealth, of oil, of wellspring that just comes out of nowhere. And, we can handle that if we don't know how to deal with our anger and our passions and our words and learn to kind of disconnect and detach, right? Gemini is a detached sign, although it's a double sign, right? But Aquarius is detached most of all. So learning to detach from any emotional triggers and learning to keep calm, cool, and collected, Aquarius. Calm, cool, collected, despite the internal, external pressures that seem to be hindering your progress and could even be at physical, right? And monetary and emotionally and relationships, right? This inhibition and this pushback in the relationships where we're just restricted and we're just dealing with karma. Like, why is it that I can't have what I want? It's like you can just keep going. Detachment, cool and level headed. Get clever with Mars and Gemini. Clever. Being open and ready to receive. New moon. Open and ready to receive from a potential benefactor. Aries, ruled by Mars, could be again in your friend group. Someone that you least expected, least suspect. Okay. So that is pretty much what I have for you at this time. I hope this gives you somewhat of a look into the Aquarius moon energy. Pick up some signatures that you may be experiencing or will be experiencing. I'm glad to be doing this directly under the Aquarian moon. Trust me, I was being a Cancer in the shower and I was like sulking and I was like, just fucking focus. Focus, bitch. And the moment I just took all my energy and focused it, all of this energy like came through so that I can express it. Oh, I think I also need to calm down and focus my energy. And Saturn and Venus would echo that. Focus the energy. The new moon energy, a dark moon, quiet the energy and focus it, right? So that we can allow this pressure to progressively escape our vessels while we continue to maintain control, while being aware of any external irritants, agitating factors that may be very well testing our will, but pushing us in a way that that forces us to kind of pursue our goal. Um, and it's not against our will, but with the threat of your comfort edge on the line. So very uncomfortable process, yet potentially promising on multiple fronts and levels. So with that being said, if you have any questions, if I missed anything, you notice something that I don't, so leave a comment down below and I'll be sure to get to you. God bless and I'll talk to you soon. Later.